Hey guys, this is Captain Phoenix back in the action, and as you can see, we are now on film 2 of our gameplay through the LEGO Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. Now, just so everyone knows, I have actually been messing about on this a little bit. I played some free players on this, so I'll just show you what I did while I was free. Because if you get all the crew members of the Black Pearl so far, you can actually get all of these unlocked. But some of them I can't because you need a mermaid for the noise, and then you need Blackbeard to unlock all the black and red blocks, the curse blocks. I haven't played that gameplay yet. I've also been getting all the true pirate studs. So this is what we'll start with: Pelagosto, which is the island filled with the Caligostos. I don't know I can say the official word for what they technically are, and as you know, we have Davy Jones on it. It'll be interesting because I haven't played this in a while, so I don't remember fully how they did everything. I think they made Beckett like really short, and they make like a ton of jokes about it. Oh, there's Beckett, and these are the East India Trading Company, which Jack got branded by. See? They're making fun of his height already. Because he was actually quite short. He was very short for a human. Not like dwarfism, but very shortish for like Napoleon small. I would Napoleon short. Like that. Lego blocks instead of. But the reason, he wants Jack. See the height thing again. But yeah, but Beckett and Jack know each other because they've had dealings in the past, and they've basically left their marks on each other. And because of Will and Elizabeth, Jack was set free. He wants Turner to help retrieve an item from Sparrow to get the chest of Davy Jones. But he doesn't want the Black Pearl. He wants the compass, the one thing that Jack keeps with him at all times. Because he knows if he can get his hands on the compass, he'll be able to find the chest. And if the company control the chest, they'll have the power of they'll have the wrath of the Flying Dutchman and Davy Jones' crew in their command. They'd be able to control the sea. So anyone who's a pirate can literally be easily hunted down. Oh yeah, and they broke out of prison. There's a bit where the blonde one, I can't remember the names proper, where he actually tries to read the Bible, but he can't even read. According to him, you get credit for trying to read it, but isn't that technically lying? Which is I think it's the 8th, it's one of the highest sins of all. And see, there's when Jack escapes, and then they put him in a cage. It is still kind of messed up how they made those cages in the films. Yeah, so there were about 12 people in the films, like, when you watch it, obviously. Because Will was asking why would Jack lock them away, because Jack orders them to be imprisoned. Because, yeah, the Pelagostos made Jack the chief, but he only remains chief so long as he acts like a chief. So he didn't have a choice. But you would say he's a captive like they are, but his predicament is kind of worse. You see, the Pelagostos believe that Jack is a god in a mortal form, and they want the honour of releasing him from his, mortal prison. So they're gonna roast him and eat him. Literally, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna roast it. They were gonna roast him alive and eat him. And Will got a bit shook when he found out where the rest of the crew were, because there was obviously a lot more than 12, a lot more than 11 people. Not counting Jack or Will. So he asked, like, where the rest of the crew, the cages that they're in, like what I'm riding in now, weren't built till after they got there. That's what happened to the rest of the crew. They got turned into their bones got turned into into the cages. I'll give it to the Islanders. They are pretty. That's pretty clever ingenuity. And you actually see the fellas where Jack eats toes because like thank you. That was it was minging. It was minging. Try and get. I always say this in my gameplays. I try and get as many studs as I can. I'm hoping I can release this on my usual date, but I'm mainly concerned that I might not be able to because during Friday I've got some things to do. But hopefully I can just release this in time. Right, where's it going? Yeah, but if you're wondering though, because some people might not remember why Will and Elizabeth were getting arrested by Beckett. Well, he was originally Cutler Beckett, but he's become Lord Beckett now. Which we would say doesn't matter, you have no reason and no authority to arrest them, but turns out he does. He has a warrant for their arrests, and for James Norrington. But Commodore Norrington resigned as commissioner several months ago. Because they're being charged with treason. Because the charges are conspiring to aid in the freedom of Jack, since he is an enemy of the crown. Pirates, because pirates, they are technically enemies of the crown and of our country, and anyone who engages in the act of piracy would normally be condemned to death, for which the punishment is also death. But they gave him letters of marque where Jack could be set free a privateer in England. I mean, no offence, Jack would be like me. I doubt what you consider freedom, others would consider slavery work. Because I do agree the world is shrinking, and it is a factor. The world is shrinking because blank pieces of the map are being filled. And it's true, we either adapt to the new world or we perish. But Elizabeth's dad managed to break Elizabeth out of prison because he was going to arrange a safer passage for her to England, because the captain of the ship is a dear friend of his. And I agree that you can't rely on Will. You can't. Because Beckett has only made one pardon, and it's promised to Jack. So even if Will was to succeed, what father's going to want to be a witness to his daughter walking to the gallows? And literally all they could do is offer a fair trial for Will when he returns, which technically means he would be killed. He'd still be killed either way. That's a fair trial. Which means there's nothing left for him in Port Royal anymore. But Elizabeth's dad then got arrested. Luckily though, Elizabeth's not heading the same way that Will's done. She actually snuck onto a ship, and the crew were saying that the ship was haunted, which I found a bit funny. No offence, superstitions don't play a role in the reality. And I agree, by the looks of it, you simply have a stowaway on board, a young woman based on the dress. So I'm going to just search the ship and find her. And, the captain did come up with a good excuse, especially for the single lads to go leaking, because she might not be fully dressed. Well, one of my favourite scenes is when Jack just distracts up, tricks them all into getting more wood for the fire, and then you just see him disappear and he starts running like mad. Which, to be fair, I'd be too if I had a bunch of wild islanders trying to roast me alive. I just saw it then. I think on free players you actually don't have the cages. if memory serves. I can't remember fully, but I think if my memory serves, when you play on free play on this, you actually don't have the cages aren't actually on them. But another favourite is when they have like the carnival music on, and when they do the bit in the beginning, what we did, that you're actually meant to climb up. They should have done that for the game. They should have had it where you climb up a bit of it. Because they were saying it'll take at least 6 of them to crew the Black Pearl, but technically, and it's true though, for a ship that size, you wouldn't need everybody. About 6. It is true. I'm not lying. Literally, you wouldn't need everybody to crew the Black Pearl. You'd need about 6, honestly. Which, you know, then that crew member who mentions it was like, oh dear, like, I see, because now they're going to come up with an excuse for everyone to start going faster. And then they all fall to their death as well, those members of the crew, and we were, and, you know, not aware you want to go. Oh. Yeah, they fall, I think it's the water when they fall. Yeah, they fall into like a lake underneath, and oh yeah, and the food fight basically that Jack gets involved with. Oh, and those two are gonna try and steal the ship, which again they couldn't crew it themselves. But it's true though, even if they did that, the tides coming in which will help them. So they just gotta get the ship. They just gotta find a way to move the ship. Oh. And now Will has a funny looking hat. But I do agree with Jack though when Gibbs they leave, like I say, we put as much distance between us and this island as possible and we head out to the open sea. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention in the beginning, because again, for people who don't know, you actually get to see Bootstrap for the first time. Yeah, but, you know, Jack's asking like me, is this a dream? He's like, no. And I agree, I thought not, because if there were, there'd be a rum. Like for me, if it was a dream, there'd be Mawams. Because we learn as well though that Davy Jones sent Bootstrap to speak with Jack, because I'll mention it. You don't actually know this. You actually don't know this unless you watch the deleted scenes. Beckett actually mentions on the 3rd film that the last time he saw the Black Pearl, she was on fire, and she was. She was on fire because he made a deal with Jack to deliver cargo to its destination, but he ended up refusing, because I agree that people are not cargo. That's literally it. And the ship ended up getting burned, and but then Jack went to Jones to make a deal with him to raise the pearl from the depths for him. And the deal was that he could only be captain for 13 years. Again, that was the agreement. That's why when John says on the film, you have a debt to pay, you've been captain of the Black Pearl for 13 years, that was our agreement. And it was the deal they had, that when the Pearl was risen from the depths, he could be 13 years he could be a captain. Though technically he was a captain for 2 years and he was mutinied on, but he was a poor captain. He was a poor captain, but he was still a captain in technical terms, because he has been introducing himself all these years as Captain Jack Sparrow. So that's actually an excuse Jones can use to actually use Jack's logic against him, because again, he still claimed himself to be the captain, so he was still a captain. And they made a deal, one soul. Jack sent Will on the Dutchman so he could use him as a soul to pay. But I agree, not every soul's going to equal one based on its value. So they establish a proposal, and now they come up with a price. Asking how many souls do you think Jax is worth, and he said 100 souls. And he has to deliver those souls in 3 days. And he says send him back the boy and he'll get started, but he's gonna keep Will, which is a faith payment. That leaves him only 99 more to go. Which arguably I argue that Will's worth at least 3 souls, honestly, because he's noble, heroic. Worth at least, I'd say at least 3, maybe 4. And he asks Jack, can he live with himself doing that? Can he condemn an innocent man, a friend, to a lifetime of servitude in his name whilst he roams free? And Jack literally says, yeah, I'm good with it. Generally says that, yeah, I'm alright with it. But again, he only has 3 days to collect 99 souls. Which again, even if you accept the terms, how are you going to harvest that many? How are you going to be able to gather that many people in 3 days? But again, there is a weakness to Jones, which you have to know Jones to know it. There is a chest that contains Jones's still beating heart. And whoever possesses the chest obviously possesses the authority to command Jones to whatever she desires. Namely, you could use it to break Jack's debt and free Will from his capture. But in the next level, I believe. Oh yeah, and they chase the dog instead. I always found that a bit funny, honestly. And I feel sorry for the dog, but it's a little funny. At least they're going after the dog and not them anymore. Because Jack's going, alas, my children. This is the day that you will always remember as the day that you almost... And then the water splashes over him like Captain Jack Sparrow. Say this is when Elizabeth's dad, the governor of Freezer. Because we all agree it's the only way she'll be safe. Well, I think, they change it. Because... they change it. They change it for the film, which is for the game, which is understandable. I unlocked that, and technically I got 2. So we've got Jack Sparrow as a chief, which is nice. Oh, savvy. What's this? Unlock all Jack Sparrow characters, single player mode. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. Oh yeah, I got some hats as well, some red hats that you found. So I'm going to turn to Port Royal. I'll show you what I've done a little bit, because we've got, wow, over 18 minutes. That's not bad. But I agreed with Gibbs though. I say we put as much distance between you and this island and we head out to open sea. Which Jack says, yes to the first, yes to the second. But only as long as you remain in the shadows as much as possible. Which I do agree is understandable. Yes to the first and second, but only as long as we stay in the shadows as much as possible. And there it is, the Flying Dutchman. You gotta admit, it's a beautiful ship for the theme they used. I always look at concept arts and everything for it, and honestly, it's a beautiful ship. It is. It's got a menacing look to it. Oh, Governor Swan. I'll show you some. I'll show you the hats I unlocked. So here's one. Red Hat Finder. I mean, I wouldn't really get that. I'm actually planning on getting the double one, which I need 600,000 studs, which I believe, because it's called Double Bounty, would allow me to get more get twice as many currency, which could be it could be really valuable, especially if I use it on free players and stuff. Because during then I can just mess about on free players, because I can have a look at which ones give me more money, and then I can list down how to get all that money. I think it's this one. Let me have a look. Yeah, always double treasure, which again I need 600,000. So I need 41. Oh. Again, I'm always gonna buy characters if I'm able to, as long as they're not super expensive. Yep. There we go. This is what I do now. I just roam around. Yeah, so I unlocked this from when I played a bit of the free players, because I thought, why not? Because with honestly the crew members of the Black Pearl, you can get almost all the awards. Only problem is though, some of them you can't because you need the mermaids to break the glass, and then you need, what is it? You need Blackbeard for these objects. The cursed objects, the red and black Lego objects. It can only be broken by Blackbeard, by the power of Blackbeard's sword. So they literally put in something where it says you need Blackbeard. So they're literally saying you need these certain characters, which I like. And I couldn't do that unless I started playing all of it on Stranger Tides. Oh, while I'm at it, because you probably didn't see in the beginning, I actually did unlock all 10 studs on Port Royal. I even got the awards as Worst Pirate, Best Pirate, and I got the backflip one, which is easy. It's literally just backflip with a female character 5 times in a row. There's one where it's Bolston, I think his name is, where you have to actually whip Will with his whip 5 times. Like, because it's I think the award is 5 lashes beyond light, so you'll see it. And this is what you do when you unlock it. And you can shoot cannons with it. It is kind of neat. At least you get to use the awards that you unlock them, because normally with stuff like that, it's not. Oh, I just noticed that. Let's just repair it. Oh, I unlocked a red hat. What is it? Fast Forge. Ooh, yeah. You know what? Why not? Sometimes I get sick and tired of it. Yep, so we're on. So next we'll be on to where we meet Tia Dalma, which it'll be a good game. I think it was one of those missions I was never really a fan of. I don't see what this does. Nothing, because it's probably because I need to unlock all that. Let's just go back to this gameplay. So. And you can see like you get a few things there as well. So I'm going to call it quits for now. Comment down below what you think of this gameplay so far. And until then, this is Captain Phoenix, over and out.